We're going to talk Proverbs and cheerleading, and this is chapter 26 today, and how this chapter relates to cheerleading. I'm going to read the first two verses, and just for back history, I've been doing this Proverbs challenge with my coach, Greg Todd, for the last 26 days, and I started doing these recordings at day 5, maybe 6, so only 20 days in for myself. I am learning as I go, because it's just something that I wanted to learn more about how to be better as a person. So that's why I'm bringing this. And relating it to cheerleading has been good for me because everything relates. And it's relating into my own life as well. I'm downstairs in my basement, as you can tell today, and the cat might join us. So bear with, because today we're going to talk about fools. And I'm going to read a little bit and then we'll talk a little bit. So I'm going to talk about verse 1 and verse 4. Verse 1 says, like snow in summer or rain in harvest, honor for a fool is out of place. And verse 4, answer not the fool according to his folly, lest you too become like him. And number 5 goes right along with that. Answer the fool according to his folly, lest he become wise in his own eyes. So, I'm not going to lie, this chapter had me kind of befuddled this morning. I didn't really know how to process it and read it, and then I went and listened to Greg's Bible study and his reading of it, and helped me understand what the entire chapter was about, and that helped me relate it to cheer and to my own life, which I'll talk about. So the key takeaway is if we listen to the fools, and the fools, give them credence, then we just become more fools in the process, and that gives credence to their foolish ways. In the way I can relate this in my own life today, there are people who are going to come at you because they have all the answers, and they know exactly where they're at, and they know what they want to be doing. In physical therapy, that happens frequently, and I get very frustrated with it. I try to correct them. I try to stop them. I'm learning to hold myself back, to let them talk, and to help to guide them for what they need, but also listening to what they need to share and what they need to tell me. A lot of times what they're telling me is not true, not correct. This is what's wrong with me. And I try to say, you're not your diagnosis. Let's figure out how to move better. And they just don't want to hear that. Now, I'm not saying that they're fools, but in this instance, they don't have all the facts. They have what they've been told. They have their baseline of what they expect, and they have their expectations. Some people come in, and after they tell me their story, I can listen, I can give them some feedback, and then they listen a little bit more. We go back and forth, and then we're on a good understanding, and they get better really quickly. And some people just come in with their preset expectations. They're not going to take any information from anybody else. They have a wall up, and they're just not going to take guidance and not going to do the exercises, not going to change how they're moving. They're not going to listen when I tell them they're holding their breath and not actually breathing. And they don't do as well. So we might call them foolish in that way. This happens in cheer. If you're a coach who is getting coached by another coach to maybe do a transition in a different way, and you're like, never going to work. We always do it this way. Or it happens for cheerleaders. No, coach, I always do it this way. I don't like this. I'm going to do this. I have my own mindset of what I want to do, and I'm not listening to my coach. Too bad. The coach can answer in kind and just put the law down, or they can stop to listen and not respond to the foolishness that's coming out of what this cheerleader and other coach is contributing to. So being able to stop and let them, the more you feed into the no, the more pushback you're going to get. And the more you can stop and not pay attention to the foolish talk and not feed into that, to give them their accolades because they're being foolish, the better you're going to be. You can respond to somebody coming in spiraling because they had a crazy day. You can give them the runaround. You can give them it back. You can yell at them. You can tell them they need to get in line. You can tell them they need to stop. But if they're not in that head and they're not ready to hear that, it's gonna fall on deaf ears, and you're only gonna fuel their fire more. This happens, like I said, in everyday life as well as in cheer. And I think we can modify how we're doing things, and we can stop and listen and not put a spin in the whirlwind onto the chaos and the foolishness. It will help us be better in the long run. I think for me, this happened today. I woke up, I saw emergency lights outside my house. I looked out the window and there was emergency lights next door. I didn't know what was up. It startled me awake. I was out of it. I spiraled getting other phone calls about stuff that I needed to take care of for my parents. And I just kept getting more anxious. People came in and they were anxious and trying to, they need to tell me their whole life history from, which I actually appreciate because I want to hear your history to know and put the pieces together. But there was a lot of anxiety in it and fear that, they've been other places that hasn't worked. And is this really going to help me? And I had to, because of my own anxiety and like paying attention to other people, I had to reel myself in, take a breath, and let this person talk and stop my evaluation and actually just do some work to kind of quiet things down. And in life, we have to do that. We have to stop ourselves. We have to recognize when someone is spiraling, recognize when someone's being a fool, whether they're, it's in their head or they're just having a day. We need to stop and we need to not give them credence on that. Either stop having them talk or redirect, let them finish and redirect them onto a positive way so that then they can hear the positive changes that we need to teach them. Hope that makes sense. I'd love to know your takeaways and how you deal with people that are coming in and giving chaos and being foolish, and if you respond, or are you able to pull yourself back and not feed into the anxiety and the chaos that people bring into, whether it be into practice or into your everyday job and life as well. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned tomorrow. I will see you live, and we'll go over Proverbs 27. If you like this, please follow and subscribe, or follow here and share it out so that more people can start to learn to improve how they are reacting and interacting in the world. Have a great night.